We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
درود و عرض ادب دارم خدمت هموطنان عزیزم در سراسر جهان. من جورج حسن زاده هستم و به برنامه چای اند چت یا چای و گپ خوش آمدید. چای گپ دروازه است برای شناسایی ایران و فرهنگ ایران. مهمان امروز ما این برنامه معاون کلانتر لس آنجلس، شهردار شهر لیک‌وود و آقای تاد راجرز هستند. ایشون اداره کننده بزرگترین کلانتری دنیا که با داشتن 18,000 افسر کلانتری و هزاران کارمند دیگر هستند. با اجازه برنامه رو به زبان انگلیسی شروع میکنم. On June 3rd, LA County Angelinos are going to the polls to elect the most qualified sheriff. Welcome. My name is George Hassan, and you are watching Chai and Chat with George Hassan. Chai and Chat is a gateway to the Iranian American community. We are talking with the assistant LA County Assistant Sheriff, the mayor of the Lakewood, city of Lakewood, and the man behind the organizations helping the kids at the Carson station or Carson community. Please join me in welcoming Assistant Sheriff Mr. Todd Rogers. Welcome.
Dorud, Mr. Hassan. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. While I'm at it, maybe I would like to say that welcome to the dynamic Iranian American community also as well.
Absolutely.
In your campaign, you have said, "This is my department. I know how to fix it, and I will reform it." Will you please enlighten our viewers and listeners on that?
Yes, sir. First, I'd like to wish everybody good afternoon. It's really a pleasure to be here and have the opportunity to talk to everyone in the Persian community. I've been on the Sheriff's Department for 29 years. I grew up in the organization. I couldn't imagine wearing anything but a tan and green uniform, so I care deeply about the organization. I'm very distressed by the scandals and the corruption that have impacted the organization. 13 months ago, Sheriff Lee Baca came to me and he told me, he said, I've made a lot of mistakes, but chief among those mistakes is I trusted the wrong people. And Todd, people within the department trust you, people outside the department trust you, and it's time for me to trust you to help reform the department. So he promoted me from the rank of commander to assistant sheriff. I skipped a rank, and he asked me to help him institute some reforms, and I did that. I reorganized the entire sheriff's department to create greater accountability among our command staff. I fixed the favoritism that was taking place with hiring and promotions. People were getting hired to the sheriff's department because they were related to somebody, not because they were qualified necessarily. And people were getting promoted to rank because they went fishing with somebody, not because they earned it on merit. And I wanted to return a meritocracy to the LA County Sheriff's Department. I even created a website for department employees to use to anonymously report misconduct within the organization. So they wouldn't have to write an anonymous letter to the LA Times or go on an internet blog. They could report it directly to department executives. And I also started fixing the budget. I inherited the $2.8 billion budget, all of our personnel and training operations, and I brought $40 million of new money into the organization and started making sense out of how we allocate our funds.
Wonderful. Great, indeed. We will not violate the law to enforce the law. Some of the department's critics saying that department openly fostered a climate in which deputies engage in aggressive policing that violated the laws and the department's policy. What is your view on that?
Well, definitely.
You already mentioned a little bit of it.
Yes, sir. Definitely some have, but I will say that the vast majority of the men and women who work for the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department are doing their jobs exactly as we want them to do them. They're doing the right things for the right reasons all the time. But we do have some who have stepped over the line, and I will say that those who have and will in the future lose their privilege to wear the badge. But I attribute that to a failure of leadership. We had some leaders in the organization, we still have a few left, who were sending the wrong message that it was okay to work the so-called gray area and push the envelope, push the bounds of legality, to do whatever it takes to enforce the law. That's not how we operate in law enforcement. That's not how we operate in the LA County Sheriff's Department, or at least the vast majority of us. We are not going to violate the law to enforce the law. We're going to obey the Constitution. We're going to honor basic human rights. And we can do that and still take bad guys to jail and make neighborhoods safe.
Wonderful. Some of this third question you have already answered, but I'm trying to. Since you have stated that as a part of reform, you will be hiring best qualified applicants. Are there other parts of the reform that you need to, and you mentioned that, engage in, such as taking away the authority from the bad apples?
We do. We need to have stricter accountability within the command ranks. We're doing that now. I'm working with the interim sheriff, John Scott, to make sure that that happens. He's kept me on his core command team. We need to get back to our core missions, making sure that we have enough deputies to fill our radio cars, our jails, our courtrooms, all the core functions that we have. We need to focus on handling the mentally ill better in the communities and also in the jails. But I think the most important thing we need to do is institutionalize community-based policing. I talk about this all the time. I want to have a direct relationship with the Persian community, for example. I want to invite the Persian community into the organization and hopefully be invited into the Persian community.
They are indeed, really.
Which I already have
Yes.
been, and I really appreciate that. But more important than that, I want all of my deputies, my sergeants, my lieutenants, everybody in the department to have that same relationship. And once we have the relationship, we can find out what the priorities are of the Persian community or any community in Los Angeles County, and that becomes our public safety priority. I want to hear from you, Mr. Hassan, what bothers you in your neighborhoods, and I want to focus on fixing that. And that's what community-based policing is all about. And then when we do that, we build this level of trust that really changes the face of law enforcement in Los Angeles County.
Yes, one thing I believe that Department of Sheriff Department, especially Sheriff Lee Baca, overlooked was the true Persian community. By true, I mean I am part of the Persian. In fact, I have a card that says the Persian that they are in Glendale, mostly Armenian Persian. They're doing a wonderful job, but they don't quite represent the true Persian community. There are some are from Armenia and Libya and other parts of the world. The Persian community is a group of people who are involved in the media. I should say run by a group or helped by a group of people that they are involved in the media and help out the Persian community that way. Yes, indeed, they would love to join the sheriff department, I'm sure, and we will talk about it later on if you like.
Could I add something to that?
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't understand the Persian community either, and folks just look at the Persian community as one block or one religion, and we all know that Persians could be Muslim, they could be Christian, they could be Jewish,
Indeed.
very diverse community. And my deputies in the sheriff's department need to understand that. That's part
Yeah.
of establishing that relationship.
Indeed. I'm a author, writer, and the historian on Persian uh, culture, and especially on Islam. And I had the opportunity to speak at the sheriff department, and that was a question that I brought up, that if they would like to uh, get kind of to know the Persian community, probably they should look toward the Iranians, all kinds of, as you mentioned, they're Muslims, they're Christians, and Baha'is, and Jewish, and that part makes the Persian community. Uh, Let me get back to the other question. Last year, a Blue Ribbon Commission issued a scorching warning or critic of the sheriff department. Uh, you made a statement, implanting reform we can trust. Of course, you mentioned part of that. Will you please tell your viewers and the listeners a little bit about the you plan on? Is that part? Are you going to uh, work on the commission's recommendations, or you have in addition or outside of that?
We are working on the commission's recommendations now. As you mentioned at the very beginning, I'm currently an assistant sheriff, and I'm in charge of all the budget personnel. So I have a direct hand in assisting the assistant sheriff over custody in implementing the Citizens Commission on Jail Violence recommendations, all 63 of them. And most of them, almost all of them actually, are either implemented or in the process of being implemented. But we want to go beyond that. Like I said before, we need to do a better job of dealing with the mentally ill population. 15% of our jail population are suffering from some form of mental illness, and our deputies need to be better equipped to deal with that. We need to have more clinicians, more professionals in the jails with us to respond to mental health crises. Because in the past, when we had a mentally ill inmate acting out, it would become a tactical problem. It would become a use of force issue. And we need to do a better job, and we're starting to now, but we need to do a better job of sending in experts who can de-escalate situations
Indeed.
before we have to use force, and hopefully eliminate the need for force altogether. We also need to find more community-based treatment options for mentally ill inmates who don't necessarily need to be in jail, but need to be in some sort of medical psychiatric treatment.
Mr. Rogers, we all, excuse me, we all have childhood memories that inspires, uh, shapes, and guide us throughout the life in adulthood. Does the name Senor Jose Ignacio Munoz rings a bell?
Yes, he does.
Abuelito.
Mi abuelito, es verdad.
I think that if you have some memories we'd like to share with our listeners.
Well, but my childhood definitely shaped my life. I was raised in the city of Carson. I was born in Long Beach, raised in Carson, graduated from Carson High, attended Cal State University, Dominguez Hills, where I got a bachelor's degree, a teaching credential in social studies, and a master's degree in sociology. I was raised by a single mom. We were very poor, and we wouldn't have made it if it wasn't for my grandparents. And my grandmother, Vera, and my grandfather, mi abuelito, Jose Ignacio Munoz,
Yes.
who was born in Chihuahua, Mexico, was a legal immigrant to this country. Very proud man. He was the primary male influence in my life. He taught me the value of a strong work ethic. He taught me integrity. He definitely taught me discipline when I needed it, and he was a hero in my life. I have a sister also who was born in Mexico. Mi hermana
Yes.
was born in Tijuana, Mexico, and she joined our family at the age of 9, and I watched her struggle to get her American citizenship for 20 years, from the age of 9 until she was 29 years old. Watching how my grandfather was treated in the workplace, not always appropriately, and watching the struggles that my sister had, have influenced me greatly. Watching my mom struggle to make it work for me and my brother before my sister joined the family has definitely made me who I am today, and I think I'm better for it. I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to see discrimination up close and personal. I know the struggles of folks who are undocumented and in this country, and how we need to treat people with dignity and not necessarily just be quick to deport folks because they're here for a better life or they get arrested for a minor offense. Of course, if somebody gets arrested for murder or child abuse, that's a different story. But people are here contributing to this society, and I really think we need to be more colorblind when it comes to law enforcement in particular, but society in general. And that's the way I was raised.
Indeed. My grandpa's words of wisdom still rings in my ears, and he truly is correct. He helped me quite a bit throughout the life, and once in a while I think about what he said, the old-fashioned way of doing things that they are applicable today. And if you listen to him, it helps us quite a bit to guide us quite a bit through it. Yes, indeed. You are a committed family man, and you live in the city of Lakewood with your wife Sally and two wonderful children, Scott and Brett, right? And both are in the universities, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you see their future as a law enforcement serving communities like that?
Well, so far I don't. Neither one has expressed a lot of interest in being a deputy, although my younger one recently has started talking about it, but I think he saw that as a way of maybe avoiding college. I don't know if he's truly interested in it, but I haven't pushed him that way. My older son is a cognitive science major at UC San Diego, and my younger one's studying history at Cal State Long Beach, and I'm going to support them, whatever they want to do, but so far, no real strong desire to follow dad into the family business.
That's the children. That's the sound like my family.
That's right.
My kids, yes. As the captain of Carson Station, you fought crime. You had community night out and other activities. Will you be applying this to other communities as well?
Absolutely. We're going to apply those concepts of community policing to every one of our patrol stations and every one of our operations throughout the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. I talked extensively before about the partnership with the community, about problem solving, but I also started a youth intervention program at Carson, which is now called Law Enforcement Assisted Diversion. And basically what that means is us partnering with community-based organizations to identify troubled youth and direct them into the appropriate programs that are specific to their needs to prevent them from becoming gang members or getting involved in a life of crime. And we've been doing that since 2006 out at Carson. We've impacted over 800 lives with a 65% success rate. And that's a model that I am very committed to and that has a proven track record, and I will expand to the entire Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
Wonderful. You have been very much involved also with law enforcement assisted diversion, which is LEAD. I think you mentioned earlier a little bit. LEAD is a community-based intervention. You have already mentioned that. I'm going over thing my. It's a service at risk a youth, which I found it very interesting. That's the same thing that you mentioned, or you have.
That's exactly it. It applies to youth who haven't entered the criminal justice system yet, but it also can apply to first-time low-level offenders. So if somebody gets arrested for, say, a low-level vandalism case, we can use law enforcement-assisted diversion to put them into programs instead of incarceration, because we all know sometimes our criminal justice system creates better criminals out of people who are arrested as first-time offenders. And we want to avoid that. We don't want them to be trained on how to be better crooks. We want to stop them from being crooks in the first place.
Wonderful. My other question, you have already answered part of it, or maybe all of it. Our focus is quality community-based policing. You have mentioned that, so I asked maybe not to repeating it, but can you add anything else you'd like to add to it?
That will change the face of law enforcement in Los Angeles County. We will be the largest agency under my leadership to institutionalize community-based policing. And if the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department does it, every agency in Los Angeles County will follow suit, and I believe many across the country will too. We will be the laboratory for doing it right.
Well, there are a couple questions that I, along the Iranian American community, don't quite understand it. They're very fundamental. But what is the major difference between Los Angeles Sheriff Department and the LAPD? They both enforce the law, but to be honest with you, I don't know quite the difference in that.
We have 88 cities in Los Angeles County. 46 of them have their own police departments. The other 42 contract with the LA County Sheriff's Department to be their police department. Now, a municipal police department like LAPD is responsible for enforcing the laws only within the city of Los Angeles. Beverly Hills PD only within the city of Beverly Hills. Now, we do that for 42 cities, but we also have responsibility for all the unincorporated areas of Los Angeles County, and there are many. We have the responsibility for operating the county jail system. We provide security in the county courthouses. We provide county-wide services to every agency and community within Los Angeles County. We provide homicide investigations. We provide SWAT team support. We provide special victims investigations, arson explosives. Our bomb squad is available countywide. So that's the fundamental difference. The municipal police departments provide for law enforcement, street-level law enforcement in their city only. We do that in cities that contract with us, the unincorporated areas, and we do all of the other things that benefit all the county, like the jails and the courthouses.
Wonderful. The second one, it has to do with the Sheriff Department, the Anti-Terrorist Division. The question is, are they basically local domestic problems, or is a wider range of, are they interested in throughout the world, what's going on in the world, and the jihadis, terrorists, and others, or is domestic, as I...
Well, I think everything's connected. We need to be focused on what's going on internationally because LA is a prime target for terrorism. So we have to know what the international and national trends are. And we are connected with our federal partners in the FBI and all the other federal agencies. But our focus is always on local threats. And I've heard a saying before that I really like, that the homeland can't be secure unless the hometown is secure. So we focus on hometown security first, neighborhood security first, but we also remain vigilant because of our transit systems, our airports, and all the other critical facilities that we have that could be targeted by somebody who wants to do harm to us.
I was casually speaking the other night to a group of my colleagues, Iranian American, and I mentioned the several services or work that you do for the community. It seems that Todd Rogers is a locomotive that knows no rest, shall I say. In addition to assistant sheriff, there is a great responsibility. Todd Rogers is the mayor of the city of Lakewood. Todd Rogers works with kids at the Carson station, keeping them out of problem. And Todd Rogers is a committed family man. What inspires Todd Rogers? Where did you get all that energy? I mean, where do you buy your bread?
Well, first of all, I have to give credit to my wife because she's a great partner. She's working very hard on the campaign. She supports me with my political career. We also run a foundation in Lakewood to support local school teachers, the Lakewood Education Foundation, so she's my partner there too. One thing I learned a long time ago is that you always have time to do what you want to do. And being on the city council, being the mayor of Lakewood has been a tremendous honor in my lifetime. I love the sheriff's department. I love the job that I do. I love my family. And I just don't have many hobbies. So those are the things that I stay focused on.
This is beautiful. Uh, if you had an opportunity to speak to thousands of Iranian American young boys and girls who aspire to become someday in future become part of the sheriff department, become lawmen, what would you like to say to them?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say we want you. We want you to be part of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. We want the Sheriff's Department to look like the communities of Los Angeles County. And we need more Iranian American youth to and young people to join us. So, number one, I would encourage them to apply to be part of our family. Secondly, as they're going through their early life, please realize that every decision you make now can impact your ability to get hired. If you make mistakes now, that could prevent you from becoming a deputy sheriff in the future. But everything you're doing now could prepare you for that role because we have very high standards for the people that we hire. We only want the best of the best, regardless of the community they come from. And we've all made mistakes when we're young, but we want to avoid the big mistakes because those could haunt you forever.
Until now, the Iranian American community were the people who came in this country. They actually fled their homeland and they did not really arrive. They were here, but they didn't, arrive. Now the second and third generation who are different, who are Iranian Americans and truly everything is American, try to kind of inject or tell the older generation, people like me, that hey, you are here, you're not going to go back. You open your suitcases, please. Allow your kids to join the army. In fact, I wear my U.S. Army because I'm a veteran. I wear it to make a statement whenever I go and speak. And allow your kids to become police, sheriff department, go into the army, and become district attorneys. And I'm proud that my son chose to become a lawyer and he's working in it. And uh, yes, indeed, the better days are here for the Iranian American community. And they are really very much now ready to do. I don't want to say the word just to be consumer, but to be producer consumer, to contribute. This is a wonderful country, and uh, I don't know, you might guess, but I started winding me up talking about it. And I am happy to say that they are ready. There are quite a bit of indications that they want to join into society. They want to help whatever they can. Okay, my
Well, Mr. Hassan, may I say I want to thank you for your service. Anybody who serves in the armed forces of the United States deserves a thank you.
it's been my pleasure. At the beginning I didn't quite know. I just got drafted in the army when I was still like I think what 8 months. And I thought you have to be at least a year before they get drafted. And in my time, 50 years ago, you get a letter from the President of the United States that says greetings. And that's how I get drafted in the Army. But I really, I'm proud to be able to serve, to be ready when, if this country needs me. And now I benefit from it. I just had my eyes, a cataract removed and a knee replacement. That's part of the, indeed, it's very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
To contact your campaign, I'm going to, if you don't mind, this will show. Okay, my man is telling me we are going to have a break. This is Chai and Chat with George Hassan, and we'll be right back with our guest, Assistant Sheriff Mr. Todd Rogers. Welcome back. I'm George Hassan, and you are watching Chai and Chat with George Hassan. Chai and Chat is the gateway to the Iranian American community. My guest is Assistant Sheriff Mr. Todd Rogers. Welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
Uh, I I'm taking the liberty of saying that it's Mr. Uh, there's a rumor that Mr. Paul Tanaka retired. Is that is that rumor correct, or am I?
No, he retired. He retired over a year ago. Matter of fact, when he retired, that's when Lee Baca promoted me and gave me a lot of his former responsibilities to fix the mess that he left behind.
Yeah. Okay. I thought he was one of the incompetent, one of the people running for the sheriff.
He is running for sheriff as a retired undersheriff.
Oh, he is running for.
He is running, yes.
Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. Uh, is there? I have actually asked most of the questions that I had in mind, and you wonderfully answered almost every one of them. Is there anything would you like to say, add to the, not just to the Iranian American community, but to the communities at large, because those are the people who are going to vote for you, and I'm one of them.
Well, thank you.
I know that I've been asked quite a bit. You had I don't know if I'm allowed to show this. You had a beautiful ad in the Iranian American community that that it was very effective, because I get quite a. They knew that I am going to have this interview, so they asked me questions, and I tried to put them together and answer. Would you like anything? Would you like to say before we get off the air?
Well, sure. First of all, thank you for the support. I don't take any of that for granted. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to pick the sheriff of Los Angeles County. We haven't had a contested election, I think, for 80 years, people are telling me. And this is a wide-open race. We have a primary on June 3rd. I expect that nobody will get over 50% of the vote, so there will be a runoff in November. I certainly want to be one of those two in the runoff against whomever, so we can have a hopefully a very adult and respectful conversation about who has the best vision for the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department moving forward. I do want to thank the Iranian community for the tremendous show of support that I've received countywide. It is very humbling to me and for me, and I will repeat what I've told many other groups as I've talked to them around the county. The Persian community in general, the Iranian community in particular, has the opportunity to be the single most influential voting bloc in this race.
Oh.
And the Persian community could actually choose who the next sheriff of Los Angeles County is, and I would be so humbled to have their vote and your vote on June 3rd.
Thank you. Actually, your name comes out quite often when we talk about the election, sheriff department. I try to not to get deep involved into this, that not to be a host that gets over the talk about things that perhaps it's for the election day. But I do know that you are well known now today, and I was quite surprised, honestly, at the party last Saturday night. The Iranian American sort of elite, people who are in media, radio, television, newspaper, we kind of together, and we once a month we give a kind of a bash, a party, and let the steam out, so to speak. And we have singers and good Persian food and talk. And most men get on one side and they talk politics, while the ladies are on the other side, and they get up and dance. And they, it's a wonderful event. And I noticed that they were, as I mentioned, your name came up quite often. And it is my belief that the community, for what little I gathered, are behind you. And
well, that's phenomenal, and we just want to encourage people to vote. They're projecting a less than 20% turnout countywide. So I'd love to have 100% turnout from the Persian community. And as I said before, for those who choose to vote for me, I'd be humbled and grateful.
Thank you. Could we have some music, please? درود و عرض ادب دارم خدمت هموطنان عزیز. به برنامه چای اند چت یا چای اند گپ خوش آمدید. چای اند گپ پشتیبان انتخاب معاون کلانتر که در اینجا تشریف دارند هست و از شما عزیزان تقاضا میکنم، خواهش میکنم که به یک کلانتر خوب آقای تاد راجرز رای بدهید. متشکرم. Welcome back.
Thank you.
We talked about several things, and I would like to ask you a little bit about the primary election. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? And what would you like to say? That's a big order, huh?
Well, I think what am I feeling? I'm looking forward to the election coming because we're all very tired. We've been working very hard. It's been a great experience, but I've never run a campaign this big. The county of Los Angeles it's like running for governor of Connecticut. It's so big. But I've had the opportunity to meet great people throughout the county, and the level of support has been very, very humbling for me. There are 7 people running, and honestly, I can't tell you, there's no definitive polling data out there, but the sense that we get is that we are definitely a contender, and we could definitely win. We could for sure be one of the top 2 going into the general election. I don't think anybody will get 50% plus 1 to win it outright. I think there will be a runoff. I very much want to be in that runoff so I can share my vision for the department to the entire county and have that debate with whoever the other person is. And in terms of what I'd like to say to the community, I'll just repeat what I said earlier, that the people listening and watching this right now have the opportunity to affect the election. There are so many candidates running that a block of votes from the Persian community or the Iranian American community could sway the vote, whether it's for me or for somebody else. Certainly, I'm hoping it's for me.
Come out and vote.
But we definitely need people to vote, because with the 20% turnout, to me, that tells me that every vote is worth 5 votes if 100% of the people vote. Mm-hmm. So I would really encourage everyone to get out and participate. I would humbly ask for their vote on June 3rd. If people would like to support the campaign in any other way, by contributing financially, you could go to our website, rogers4sheriff.com, because it's very expensive to put commercials on and send mailers out to 120,000 homes, which would be, just a segment of the voting population. We have 4.5 million voters. But any way that people would like to support, whether it be, we have people out walking neighborhoods right now and making phone calls, asking voters to support us. But anything they would like to do would be certainly appreciated. But the most important thing is voting on June 3rd and encouraging their network of friends. Join us on Facebook. Spread our Facebook message to everybody on social media. I think we have the strongest social media campaign out there. We have a very strong ground campaign, and I would love more people to be involved. We only have 2.5 weeks.
That's right.
Until the election.
That's right.
So I'm very nervous. I'm very excited. But I know that we can pull this out, and with the help of the people listening and watching, we can win this thing.
Wonderful. Angelinos who are going to the polls to follow, and also the Iranian American community, how best they can get hold of you or to be able to contact you? What's the best way?
Well, the quickest way is to call us, and I could give a phone number if you'd like.
Yes, please.
It's area code 562-496-3559.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to think I'm crazy, but that's my home telephone number.
But that's the one I call you.
That's right. We have 2 weeks before the election, and I don't want the phone calls to go to campaign staff. I want it to come directly to me or my wife, Sally, 562-496-3559. If you'd like to get involved in the campaign or ask me any questions, I'd be happy to answer those and sit down and talk. I want to earn every single vote that I get. So if I need to answer questions to a family or a particular individual, I'm willing to do that.
I believe you are sitting in a very comfortable position. beside the phone number, there is an email, I believe, that you also have, that, and a website. Your email,
I would encourage people to go to Rogers, ROGERS, the number 4, sheriff.com. And there you could click, there's a link you can click on to send an email to us. It's reform@rogersforsheriff.com. And we also have a Facebook site, Todd Rogers for Sheriff. We almost have 7,000 likes on the Facebook page. We need, I think, 200 more. So maybe your listeners and watchers could go on there right now and like it and put us over 7,000 before the end of the day. That would be great.
I would like to thank our listeners, viewers, who allowed us to come into their home, and at the same time thank our guest, Assistant Sheriff Mr. Todd Rogers. Thank you very much for appearing as a guest in my show.
Thank you, sir. It's my honor to be here. Thank you very much.
هموطنان عزیز، تشکر بسیار دارم از شما هموطنان، دوستان، که اجازه دادید در خدمت شما باشم. چای اند چت برای ایرانیان است و دروازه است که ایرانیان در سراسر جهان می توانند فرهنگشون رو نشون بدن به دنیا. و در این انتخابات باز دوباره از شما خواهش میکنم که به آقای تاد راجرز رای بدهید. متشکرم.
بذار که آینه شته ستاره و اصل شه، غروب گر گرفته بستری از غزل شه.